What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another announcement video. Spurs have secured their third signing of the season. After Kulusevski, after Vicario, it is now James Maddison on a £40 million deal. With Harry Winks going the other way, that's not confirmed yet, but it will be, I'm guessing, tomorrow or something in a £10 million deal. But what a signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Finally getting that creative player in the midfield, that replacement for Eriksen. How many years on is it since we sold Eriksen?
2020. Years? So coming up on in January will be
3 years.
4 years in January.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be 4 years in January.
Mad. So 4 years on, we finally have our Christian Eriksen replacement, a guy that breathes goal contributions, especially in the last 2 seasons. Everyone's going on about Martin Odegaard, how amazing he was last season. I think Maddison only got 3 less goal contributions than Martin Odegaard last season, and he was considered one of the players in the Premier League. So you got to say it is a fantastic signing for Tottenham Hotspur. We'll get into the announcement from Tottenham and then we'll give our opinions. So let's have a look at the statement on the website. It says, "We are delighted to announce the signing of James Maddison from Leicester City. The England international has agreed a deal with the club that will run until 2028. James began his career with Coventry, where he progressed through the youth ranks, making his professional debut in August 2014 before joining Norwich City in January 2016, remaining with the Sky Blues on loan for the rest of the campaign. He finished with 42 appearances in total for his hometown club, scoring 5 goals. An exciting, creative midfielder, he made his debut for the Canaries in August 2016 in an EFL Cup tie against his former side before joining Scottish Premier League side Aberdeen on loan for the first half of the season, making 17 appearances, netting twice. Maddison then became a key part of Norwich's side following the season, making 49 appearances in all competitions and ending the campaign as the club's top goal scorer with 15 goals, claiming City's player of the season. Earning recognition for his outstanding performance, James claimed numerous personal accolades throughout the 17-18, including Championship Young Player of the Month award for January 2018 and the Championship Goal of the Month award for September 2017 and January 2018. In addition to being nominated for the EFL Young Player of the Season, he was also named in the Championship PFA Team of the Year. In July 2018, James signed for Leicester, making his Premier League debut following month in a seasoning opener against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Enjoying an excellent first season in which he made 38 appearances, he collected City's Young Player of the Season award and ended the campaign with 14 goal involvements. The Coventry-born playmaker made 203 appearances over a 5-year spell with Leicester, scoring 55 goals. And in 2021, he claimed the Premier League Goal of the Month award for September 2020 with a stunning co-league finish at Man City, while also helping the Foxes lift the FA Cup in May 2021. In the 21-22 season, began with a Community Shield victory over Man City and was ultimately another impressive campaign for the midfielder, claiming the club's Player of the Season award after netting 18 goals and registering 12 assists, his most prolific campaign to date. And he followed that up with a further 19 goal contributions in just 30 outings for the Foxes last term. After representing England at under-21 level, James received his first call-up to the senior squad in October 2018, making his debut in the UEFA Euro 2020 qualifier against Montenegro in November 19. He was then named in Gareth Southgate's World Cup squad in 2022 after his impressive club form. His first start for 3 Lions in March 2023 in a Euro 2024 qualifying match with Ukraine at Wembley Stadium. So here you can see him signing his Spurs contract, holding up the shirt, things you love to see. So that is James Maddison, and that is him signed, sealed and delivered as a Tottenham Hotspur player. So give me your reaction, Sim.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. It is actually a bit of a statement signing. First of all, it's a player who, when maybe the season ended last season, you would have thought, is this a player who's attainable for a team who haven't qualified for Europe for the following season, have been in a bit of a mess over the last few years in terms of their trajectory? He's a player, obviously, we knew, wasn't a Tottenham fan, but he was a very highly sought after player. Maybe we're a bit lucky that a lot of the other top clubs have that number 10 position kind of locked up at the moment. But competing with teams like Newcastle, who have Champions League football, it was always going to be difficult to kind of win that race for us for such a quality player who's been one of the best performers in the Premier League in his position over the last few years. And I think to get him for the price that we got him for shows that even though we are kind of in the situation we are, we still do have that pull. We still are a big club. Players of his quality are still willing to sign for us, even when we don't have Champions League football or even European football at all. And I think that this is evidence of that. I think it's a player we've been missing for a number of years, as you say, ever since we lost Christian Eriksen. We never even had a player of his mould since Eriksen. Like, what was the last even attacking midfielder we had? I can't even remember.
We had Ndombele, didn't we? But he just never lived up to the.
He was never meant to be an Eriksen, though. He wasn't meant to be a Dembele. He was meant to be a centre mid.
I mean, like, didn't
I guess
Jose
you could say
try
Lo
him at
Celso.
number 10? Jose tried him at number 10, and that was what kind of the best time he had at Spurs, wasn't it?
I guess you can say Lo Celso was maybe the only other one who maybe you could have said was supposed to be an attacking
Yeah.
midfielder, but no one of the who consistently was getting the goal contributions that Maddison has been getting. He's also a homegrown player, so ticks that off the list as well. And also because he's a player who, you know, isn't a regular England starter, he'll have something, he'll be hungry and he'll have something to prove a bit while when he comes into the Spurs team to show that he has it to perform like at a higher level, a bigger club and get into that England team. Because we've seen you know, Spurs players very often are getting called up for England and getting starts for England. So I think that'll definitely be in the back of his mind. I'm just super excited because we haven't had a player in that mold, someone in the half space who can have that vision out of the corner of his eye to pick out a pass, put it on a plate for a striker or an oncoming player in the box, someone who can strike the ball as consistently on both feet from outside the box as he can, someone from set pieces who can so consistently create chances and also be such a threat. How often have we had just opportunities in around the box with set piece and just wasted them time after time again because we haven't had the quality to make the
pretty
most
much
of them?
Every time since pretty much Eriksen went off the boil with free kicks.
Yeah, and it feels like it's been a tactic even almost of teams like you can foul us in around the box because there's a good chance we won't make anything out of the set piece. But now Maddison around, it's a big danger now. All of a sudden, you have to think twice before you commit a foul in those kind of areas because you know Maddison could be so deadly. I just didn't think this kind of transfer. In the first update we did of him, you know, near the end of the season, I was saying that maybe that the London pool could be significant. And to be honest, it turns out that it has been because his it seems apparently his partner has been a big influence in this deal. But I never really believed that he would much rather come to us than Newcastle. I guess the money as well has been a factor. We've been able to offer much bigger wages than Newcastle, and that has to be considered. But I just think the fact that he's chosen us over Newcastle is pretty significant, even though Newcastle on such a good trajectory at the moment, and it shows that we're still a club that want to be competing right at the top, and we don't want to have a season like last season again, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, if you would have asked like your average random football fan at the end of last season, where do you think Maddison's going to go, Newcastle or Tottenham? 9 out of 10 would have told you Newcastle. Everyone was saying he's going to go Newcastle. Newcastle are on the up, Tottenham are on the down, Newcastle in the Champions League, Spurs aren't even in Europe, not even in the Conference League. So I think it's a major coup to get Maddison, get a player like Maddison in, especially in the price that we got him in for. 40 million. When you're looking at the players of like his compatriots only in the England squad, right? Declan Rice has gone for 105 million today with 1 year left in his contract. You've got Mason Mount, who Chelsea are rejecting 60 million bids for. I mean, it's absolutely mad to think about it. And you're getting James Maddison for 40 million. Do you think, I've always felt though, like the England setup and Gareth Southgate have never taken Maddison too seriously. Do you think now, maybe with this signing, him coming to Spurs, he'll start to take him a bit more seriously?
I would, yeah, I do. I do think it obviously bolsters opportunity. We all know that as much as we don't like it, the England setup usually favours the bigger teams, and Spurs, whether you want to say, yes, Leicester won the league and won the FA Cup, but they are a bigger team than Leicester at the moment, considering the history and whatever, and Leicester in the Championship. So I definitely think if he starts getting the numbers he was getting for Leicester for Spurs, I'm sure Southgate will take a much more serious look at him, and maybe he'll start finding himself in the team a lot more often. Obviously, he did. Did he start the last friendly or the one before? He started one of the friendlies anyway.
He started against Malta, I think.
Yeah, he started one of the friendlies. Yeah, it was Malta. So he is starting to get a look in already anyway, and he did get called up for the World Cup. But yeah, he's always been kind of Foden and Mount have always kind of been preferred to him. But maybe now this move for Tottenham, if he starts really smashing it out, I'm sure Southgate, if he, depends if his form is just too good to ignore, and Southgate won't be able to ignore him.
Yeah. There has been some announcements on Twitter by Spurs, so let's go and have a look at that. Maddison has been speaking to the Spurs official Twitter account, so let's have a look at this.
Maddison here. Can't wait. Hello, Tottenham Hotspur fans. James Maddison here. Can't wait to meet you all. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Okay. Fully COYS. Always knew it. He always knew it.
Him with the, I don't know what he's looking at the cinch for. Should be looking at the badge.
He just loves cinch.
And these are some more pictures of him. Lovely stuff.
He looks great in the shirt, I have to say. He does look.
Suits him, doesn't it?
Suits it. Really suits him.
Yeah, so there you go.
There's some other videos. There's one of him throwing darts and stuff, I think.
We'll play without the sound.
Look at that. Oh, bullseye. I'm sure there's no edits there. No cheeky cuts. That was definitely a bullseye from James Maddison.
Should get him in the studio for a game of darts.
100%. Looks like this is the mold of an announcement video we've gone for this summer. I kind of like it. It's kind of professional. Looks nice. Nothing. I
might prefer
it's not like Burnley standards. There's no banter or anything. It's just there you go. It is what it is. I think
that's that. So
absolute class.
Happy days. So what's tomorrow got in store for us then?
Yeah, honestly, the amount of transfer news and things coming out of the part, we have been moving I guess pre-season is coming up thick and fast, but yeah, July hasn't even hit and we are making some serious moves. And I'm really excited to see how Maddison can elevate this team. Because as you say, we're missing a player who's been able to play in between the lines for so long. So finally having that player not being so heavily reliant on Kane and Son anymore for goals and creation as well. And also literally having creation. We haven't actually had someone creative. I'm just really excited to see how that is going to affect the team, oppositions is going to take a bit of time for them to work us out now because they're going to have Maddison, Kane, and Son to think about all of a sudden, and it's going to be a fun ride, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. And with the Ange football, high pressing football, I think Maddison will fit in like a glove. Do you think it will take him a bit of a bedding in period, or do you think he can hit the ground running?
I'd like to think he can hit the ground running, but I think more often than not, new signings do take a bit of a bedding in period. So it's a new system under Ange as well. New club, new players. It always takes time to build up relationship. He does strike me as a player who will easily just come in and start banging the goal straight away. To be honest, for Leicester himself, he was pretty quickly starting to score goals. Albeit he wasn't hitting the numbers he is now in his first season, but it wasn't like in his first season he was really struggling. He was really became an important player fairly quickly at Leicester. So at 26, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to waste any time, but I'm not naive enough to think that it could take a few months to bed him in.
All right, so there you have it, Maddison. Before we go, let's talk about what his squad number could potentially be. Funnily enough, Vicario got given number 13. I mean, maybe when Lloris leaves, number 1 will be transferred over to him. But it's funny, it's weird that they announced him as number 13.
He was number 13 at Empoli. I've
maybe he just likes that one.
He could like it. Maybe it's disrespectful to give him number 1 while Lloris is still here. Probably, guys.
What I'm saying is they didn't need to give him a number. Maybe they could have done that closer to the season. Is what I'm saying. Like they haven't announced Maddison a number yet, have they?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, it's probably fair. So maybe he just likes 13.
Yeah,
I remember Lloris got the number 25 in his first season, didn't he? And
Brad Frieda was number 1, wasn't he? When he first came. But look, in terms of James Maddison, I think Barry in the WhatsApp group pretty much called it spot on. I think Bissouma moves to the number 6 and probably he'll get Winks' number 8 shirt.
Yeah, probably makes absolute sense. Obviously,
unless he gets the number 10 shirt.
Yeah, no, he's not getting that. He ain't getting that number 10. I can tell you that. Number 10 is locked. No one's getting no number 10, all right?
He's going to retire number 10 after Harry Kane leaves.
Yeah. Well, Maddison ain't getting the number 10. He did used to like the number 23, I remember, at Norwich and Coventry. So Obviously, that's a number synonymous with like David Beckham as well. So maybe it's a number he likes. Porro is obviously number 23 right now, unless he moves to number 2, and maybe Maddison does that. But I think number 8 suits him. That probably makes sense.
Yeah. What's the number 8 at Leicester?
Who's number 10 at Leicester?
Oh, number 10 at Leicester, of course. Yeah. All right. So there you have it. That is the announcement for today, James Maddison. Tomorrow is another day, and hopefully some more transfers will be coming through, or some news. So we'll bring you all the news as soon as it comes to us tomorrow, as well as a quiz. You're going to have a quiz between me and Sim tomorrow with an actual quiz master in the studio. So tune in for that around 3:30 tomorrow. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on,
you Spurs.